in my entire
Oh,
life.
hold on. Shh, wait.
I canceled the trip.
Okay.
So everything's get back to normal.
Hello, welcome to Travel Talk Tuesday. We are live with me, Lainey Melnick, owner of Dream Vacations, Lainey Melnick and Associates, and a fabulous tour operator, Charlie the Traveler, with tours over 30 countries around the world. So tonight we are going to be talking New Zealand, one of my favorite destinations.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
You might want to pull your camera down just a bit so you have a little less headroom. I know you like to have it like that, but it cuts you off sometimes.
Let me. Is that better?
That is better, yes.
Excellent.
So let me just start with a little housekeeping. You can scan the QR code up in the corner and enter to win our $10,000 sweepstakes towards any trip you want, land or sea. Your choice. We have no restrictions at all on how you spend the money, as long as it's towards a trip that I book for you. And then if you put hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday in comments on any of our streaming platforms, we are streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I think I got it all. So if you watch during the live and you want to comment, put hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday. If you're watching after the fact and seeing one of our old shows, please hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday, and we will give you a $50 gift certificate towards any Charlie the Traveler tour that you book through my agency, Lainey Melnick, Dream Vacations, Lainey Melnick and Associates, and my team. So thank you.
I'm excited about talking New Zealand here.
Me too. So New Zealand, some people don't understand, is an island. It is similar to a South Pacific island. It's got that kind of vibe to it. But it's two islands, actually, north and south.
In the north, you'll get more of the native culture. The south, it's more something you'd expect out of Scotland or something like that.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a film person, and film is very important in New Zealand. They have the effects for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. They have the Hobbiton set. So there is a lot to do and see for film lovers.
It is. I took my father on one of my trips over there, and he and I had the time of our life. It's a very family-oriented destination, and it's great for outdoor enthusiasts.
Yeah, it has the most beautiful waterfalls, just these amazing glowworms in the night caves. There's just all sorts of everything there. Not the volcanoes, but they're hot springs, geysers in one area. So why don't we go over what you do with your clients when you guys go to New Zealand?
So, just to start off with that volcanic thing you talk about, so there's this place called the White Island, um, and it's like volcanic and it's got sulfur. It's honestly one of the coolest islands I've seen. Very colorful, but there was an eruption some years ago. It's no longer accessible to tourists.
Oh,
I was able to visit it while it still was, and I thank God I did. It was that cool. But yeah, the thing that thing erupted a lot and spilled out too much. So
oh.
we make sure that we keep you alive over there. So
Yeah, I did have a problem. I was trying to book somebody over there, and she didn't tell me she had an allergy to sulfur, and you can't go there. Like it's just everywhere in the air. So luckily, we got her out of there before anything happened. But these are important things to tell your travel agent.
the number one destination is Queenstown, and sometimes you can get there directly because it is a international airport. Sometimes people are going to have to fly first to Auckland and then get their luggage and take a connecting flight. So there's a few ways to do it, but you want to basically start in Queenstown and in Auckland. Logistically, that's the best way to do it.
Do you go to Wellington also?
Wellington's the capital of the country. Sometimes when people request it, we will add it, but it's not on the standard tour, and there's a few reasons for it. People really want to do outdoor stuff. So when they say, hey, we want some city life, we'll add Wellington, we'll add Christchurch as well. It's got a little bit of that British feel to it.
Right.
But otherwise, people just say, you know what, we want to be on crazy flightseeing tours. We want to be landing on Mount Cook. We want to be going on glacier hikes and, boating fast and all this kind of stuff that you do out of Queenstown, so
Yeah.
that's usually, we keep it more in the activities than we do on the cities in New Zealand.
And Queenstown is kind of like a quaint little village. You can walk around a lot of places, beautiful kind of harbor area, and great restaurants and coffee shops. So some people would think New Zealand it's an island, it's a South Pacific feel, maybe it's gonna be warm, but it's not always warm there. There are glaciers, there are snow capped mountains. So do you have an idea of when you like to send people?
November through April are the most popular months. That's their summer season. In some parts still will get cold because we're taking you up to the snow. But that are the warmest times of the year to go, for sure.
Yeah, so it's the other side of the earth. So it's very close to Australia, down under. So you're far away when you go to New Zealand. It's not like just going to Europe.
No. You're going to be on that airplane a little bit. I hope you like the person sitting next to you, because you're going to have long talks with him or her. Typically, the day that the customer arrives, whether they get directly into Queenstown or they're getting to Auckland and then take another flight to Queenstown, we keep it soft that day. The only thing we really do is go on a cruise in the evening. It's called the TSS Earnslaw Steamship. And it's just very scenic. There's some food. And you're taken to this homestead also where, it's got the sheep and alpacas, and it's got this like nice garden. Dinner's included that day. And then you're taken into this area, and they basically, I don't know what it's called, when they shave the sheep and they show you how to shave the sheep.
Shearing. I don't know what it's called either.
Yeah. You're basically cutting the sheep's wool. That's what you're doing.
Right.
And then they basically show you how they do the sheepdog roundup, where they have the dog, and the dogs basically make, how the dogs, it's amazing how you get these animals to communicate, and how everybody has their position, almost like we do in our jobs, in our careers. So
yeah,
it is kind of interesting. So yeah, it's kind of a soft day, especially we don't know how much jet lag people are going to have. So just being on the ship, watching some of those activities, having dinner, that kind of thing, it's a good way for your first day.
Yeah, I agree. And I love those like ranch or farm outings when you watch the sheepdogs. They are just like amazing. It's like watching a dog show without a person telling you what to do.
So we had talked about some of these extensions, because our standard tour is 9 days long,
Okay.
9 days, 8 nights. So sometimes, yes, some people want a little bit more of the city life, and that's where Christchurch comes in, and that's where Wellington can also come in. Also, you've got some people that want extreme sports. So we don't automatically put that on the itinerary. We put just the stuff that everybody can handle and enjoy. But there are certain things like bungee jumping. So for those, we will add a day in Queenstown. And there's this bridge. It's super tall. It's very near the resort town of Queenstown. But it's very popular. And when you're in Queenstown, you're going to see photos of it everywhere. So do you want to go bungee jumping, Lainey?
I have had the opportunity in the highest bungee in the world, and I passed. I am happy to watch other people do that. I do not need to do that. I think zip lining is good enough.
I think the only way you and I would bungee jump is if our phone was falling down.
We had to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Probably. It depends on who's on the phone, though. But yes. Yes. So do you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Typically on the second day, what we do is we take you to Milford Sound.
That's exactly what I was just going to ask you. So you read my mind.
So day 2 is that day trip to Milford Sound. In an ideal setting, you're taken there by flight, you return by flight.
Oh.
Um, but this one, you kind of roll the dice because the weather is often foggy or windy or whatever.
Mm.
And sometimes last minute we need to switch the days around. It's just a tricky one to play with. Sometimes you take the flight there, you have to come back by bus, and we of course arrange all of that, so you don't
Hmm.
have to brainstorm for yourself. Um,
And
but
when
in an
you,
ideal,
I'm sorry, when you say that you take a flight, what we're talking about is flight seeing. Like it's a small plane and it's scenic and beautiful, and maybe you're gonna stop at a glacier on the way, or right?
it's a flight seeing scenic tour. So yeah, exactly. It's a small plane. It's taking you there. It was a surprise for my father when I took him there. And I mean, just imagine, because I mean, they're so high, these things, and you're going right next to them.
Hmm.
On my Instagram, I got really cool videos of it. But it's definitely one of the highlights. Every day is a lot of fun in New Zealand, but that particular one really stands out.
Yeah.
And then it's not only that, when you get there, you also go on a boat tour. It's cruising atop all these mountains. So, and there's these waterfalls also. So it's both
Hmm.
the sightseeing tour and the boat tour in the same day.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. It's like scenery as good as you would get in Alaska. Like it's really amazing in this tiny little area. What amazing sights they have.
Mhm.
Just beautiful.
The third day, and stop me if I'm going too fast with this,
No,
Lynn.
no, good. You're going good.
The third day is Mount Cook. So we used to do this a little bit differently. Mount Cook, we would leave Queenstown and we would relocate
Mm,
to Mount Cook. Then you see it, and then we'd kind of go to Christchurch. But there were some problems with that because the shuttles are not guaranteed from
mm,
Mount Cook out to, and then we, if something happens, we need private, that gets a lot more expensive for the customer. So I said,
right.
here's an easy fix to this whole thing. You're making a flight seeing day trip to Mount Cook from Queenstown.
Mm,
So the same thing that you're doing from Milford Sound,
hmm.
you're now doing it from Mount Cook. So you're staying at the same hotel, your luggage is there, you're waking up in the morning, and you're taken straight there. And you do all kinds of cool stuff. Once you get there, because it's one plane to get you there, you arrive at the helipad, then you get into a helicopter,
Mm,
and the helicopter lands straight on the glacier.
yes,
And
I
and there's
did
like,
that too.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
after you
Mm,
land on it, it's either going to be Tasman Glacier or Franz Josef Glacier. It kind of just
mm.
depends on the weather. Um, and then you're going to go snowshoeing or crampon.
Ah,
So
interesting.
that also depends on the season, but it's going to be
Yeah.
one. It's a snowshoes, or it's going to be the crampons, and you're going to go on a hike over there, and you're going to see these
Hmm.
blue ice grottos and caves and things like that.
That's cool. When we did it, it was warm, so it wasn't very good snow. So we didn't go off into any hiking. There was nowhere to go.
But that is year round.
Oh,
The
okay.
crampons, yeah. So it's going to be one or the other, but you will have one of those two regardless of the month that
Hmm,
you're going.
interesting.
So there is a glacier hike over there that everybody does. The
Hmm.
only ones who can't do that are for children under 9 years old. That they can't
Oh,
go on this, but anybody else year round, you're going to go either snowshoeing or crampon.
that's interesting because when I was up there, there was another family who came on a helicopter who had kids, but I mean, the ones that I was on didn't do the hiking, so that's interesting. But I'm sure those little crampon things are, they're sharp. I don't know if I'd want them around my kids.
Mhm. It is a very popular activity for sure.
Mm,
Um, it really is.
mm,
The fourth day, you're still based in Queenstown, and on this day, you start off going to a place called Skipper's Canyon.
mm,
And it's got these like roads that are just small, and you're seeing all this beautiful scenery on the sides of you.
mm.
But it's got like a cliff right over there, so you'll see like 700 feet down if you look.
Yikes.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it is pretty, but It is safe but narrow nonetheless.
Hmm.
From there, we take you to this river. It's called Shotover River, and then you go jet boating over there. That
Hmm.
one is nuts, and I don't know how they do it, but these guys are such pros where they take these big jet boats and like a boat, like imagine a jet ski, but a
Hmm.
boat version of a jet ski, and
Hmm.
everybody goes inside this thing, and these guys are going nuts.
I think I
Uh,
saw them. They're like crazy. We didn't know what they were.
yeah, that was me and my dad going ah. so, um,
Wow.
so yeah, so basically you take that 4x4, you're going through that beautiful valley with narrow streets and all that
Uh,
beautiful scenery. Then you're taken to that river. Then that's where you go on jet boating, and they do 360s in the whole 9 yards. So
wow.
you're provided with a cover so you don't get all wet. But yeah, I mean it's like jet skiing basically, a big boat. Um,
Wow.
yeah, that's some fun stuff. Um, and then basically after that one, you are taken back into town, and you go to the Skyline. That is where
Oh,
the cable car is
the cable
basically.
car. Yeah, we did that too.
And then
Hi, Joanne.
you went to the top. It's called Bob's Peak up there. You got beautiful views over there. Um, and if that's not enough activities in one day, after all that, you go zip lining. Uh,
Mm.
and there's 6 zip lines in total. So literally all in one day, you've got the Skipper's Canyon with a beautiful scenic drive and the jet boating, and you're going to get that
What are you
scenic
doing?
view from the cable car, and you're getting zip lines, 6 different lines in total. So I don't think you're going to get bored on day 4. What do you think?
So on the top, there's also, I don't remember if they call it a zoo or they have something up there where you can see local animal species. And I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's at the top of the cable car. Maybe it was at the bottom. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm. There's like a little like farm area over there.
No, no, it's like a zoo. They did shows. They showed us the various animals in the area. Oh, I'm going to have to look it up.
That's what we do on day 1. That's where remember.
Oh, oh, well, that's the farm. That's different. I think that's different. Okay, now I have to look it up. Go ahead, keep talking.
Um, so the nice thing with this tour, you've now spent 4 nights in Queenstown. We obviously want to see as much as we can. Some countries, you've got to constantly relocate hotels. Every couple of days, you're changing a hotel. The nice thing with Queenstown, you've spent 4 nights in Queenstown, and you're doing all this fun stuff, and you don't have to pack and unpack.
And I love Queenstown. I went all over both islands, and that was our favorite by far. Beautiful area.
So on day 5, you relocate from Queenstown. It usually makes a stopover in Christchurch, and you get to Rotorua.
Oh,
This is
okay. That's
this is
what I was talking about too.
the
With,
northern island.
yeah, with the sulfur. Rotorua is where that was. So it's the Kiwi experience, the Kiwi Park.
Exactly, and that's how we're talking about the northern island is more like native, like Maori culture and all of that. The southern island is more like what you'd imagine out of Scotland, like a very European experience.
So what I'm saying is the park by the gondola that we were talking about, that I was saying showed us the local animals. It's kiwis. They were showing us kiwis. It was the Kiwi Park Conservatory. Anyway, it's there. It's easy to walk to from your hotel.
Um,
Sorry, getting back to Rotorua.
Incidentally, kiwis is the kiwi, the fruit, which comes from New Zealand. The people themselves are also called kiwis.
Oh, yes, they are.
So Aussies will always say, "Hey, you've been hanging out with the kiwis." When they say that, they mean you've been hanging out with the New Zealanders.
I was thinking it's a bird for some reason. It's not a bird.
It's the people, the
What?
kiwis.
Okay, I'm very confused now. Anyway, I love Rotorua because we went to like a tribal thing. I'm sure you did that too. A native experience.
hmm So the day that you arrive in Rotorua, we pick you up from the airport. We take you to your hotel, and then after you've checked in and all that stuff, we take you to this Maori village. They'll show you like some native rituals, and they do like a show with a traditional dinner. Um, and the cool thing is the meal, it's put into the ground. They're actually cooking it inside the ground. Um, and then when they take it out of the ground, you can see the fumes and everything. It's really tasty. So it's folkloric. It's their dances, their music, their traditional way of cooking the dishes and everything else. It's a good way to spend your evening.
So just a correction, kiwi is a bird. So it's called a kiwi bird, and they do have them in this conservatory as well as the fruit.
Okay, well, for some reason, they're calling the people kiwis too.
Yes, they do. Yes.
So I,
So the experience that you were talking about is similar, kind of similar to a luau, but loosely. It's really a totally different kind of experience with these native. Do you call them tribes? I'm not sure.
the Maoris,
Yeah,
the natives. That's what. Yeah.
yeah. It was that's a really fun experience, and they take you through these little workshops and teach you different things that they I can't even remember some of the things they did. And then they do a show that kind of shows their dancing and singing. Yeah, it was really a fun experience.
Indeed, indeed, it is. The next day, because now you're based in Queens in Rotorua. Um, there's this valley that we take you to. So remember how you talk about the sulfur and all that? This
Yeah.
is the most concentration of all of that, the geysers, sulfur, all of that. And then basically you see these volcanic craters and these hot water springs, and there's a bunch of other type of like geothermal features in
Yeah, and
that.
it's crazy colors, like colors you wouldn't believe in this. It's like a rainbow of these geysers.
Yeah, and it's not far from there where the White Island was, where you see the same type
Mm,
of thing, which you can't go to anymore. But yeah, it's the same type of colors over there.
mm,
After that day tour, you're taken to this geothermal reserve and mud spa. It's called the
mm,
Hell's Gate, and you bathe in a mud pool over there.
mm.
I did that one with my aunt, and yeah, the other person's getting your whole face and the whole thing. It feels good on your skin, and
Mm.
the water's nice and warm. Just it's a thermal pool. Um,
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's Hell's Gate I went to. I think it must have been, but they offer all sorts of different massage type options and different spa experiences as well. But the mud, yeah, I don't personally love mud when it's on me, but I love the feeling when it's washed off.
um, cool. So now it's day 7. Now, people who ask me, like, hey, we just have an extra day. We don't necessarily want to see another city or something. We just want kind of a day to hang out.
Mm.
Usually we recommend in Rotorua,
Mm.
just for that one extra day. But otherwise, on the 7th day, we relocate from Rotorua to Auckland, but it's not a direct transfer. There's 2 very important sites that you
Mhm.
see along the way. So the first one is the Lord of the Rings movie set.
You
Um,
you mean the Hobbiton, don't you? Or do you mean Lord of the Rings?
the Hobbiton. Yeah,
Hobbiton. Okay. That's
yeah.
for the Hobbit, dear.
It's the Lord of the Rings. Isn't it the same thing?
No, totally different. I'm sure all of our viewers will love that question. No, it's the Hobbit is where all the hobbits live. I mean, the hobbits are in Lord of the Rings, but not Hobbiton. I don't think. Now I'm doubting myself, but I'm pretty sure it's just in the Hobbit. But
It,
maybe it's in Lord of the Rings too.
it's the Lord of the Rings movie set over there.
No, it's just the Hobbit movie set. The Hobbit. It's Hobbiton for the Hobbit. It's the Hobbit village.
Well, I'll be honest with you and tell you I never watched the movie, so I don't know the
Ah,
difference.
oh my God, I was forced to watch every single movie. But the hobbits live in Hobbiton. It's the Hobbit village. And it's like you walk through the village of Hobbit houses and you can go inside the house and you have a Hobbit feast. It's awesome. We really enjoyed Hobbiton. But go ahead. So it's not Lord of the Rings, though. It's the Hobbit set.
Well, thanks for explaining that. For a guy who's never watched the movie, for me, I didn't know the difference. It looked cool. They've got all these doors there, and like you gotta, and when you're there, you act like you know what you're talking about. I'm like, I don't know. The other one is to the Waitomo Caves. Caves. And you're taken on a boat ride through these grottos. And that one's a lot of fun.
So that's where the glowworms are that I did. And the one thing I would warn people is that I did get some worm like on my hair as we were going through, because it's dark. You're going through the dark and you see the glowworms. But they're very cool. I really liked it.
It is. And they used to have it where you can actually take a rope down.
Oh.
Yeah, and I did that myself. We
did a boat.
Yeah. They've changed it up. After COVID, it got changed up. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
So how do you take a rope down? That would be dangerous.
No, I mean, I'm still here. I'm not dead. But yeah, there's a hole there, and you're strapped up. You're all strapped up, and then you just basically go straight.
Oh, it's kind of like waterfall canyoneering.
Exactly.
Oh,
Same.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah. I like my boat ride better.
You like it better. At the end of that day, after the caves, you're taken to Auckland. People think that's the capital of New Zealand. It is not, although it is the largest city. And you sleep there that night.
And Auckland is where most cruises come and go from. So if you are there for a pre-cruise or a post-cruise experience, that's probably where you're going to either want to start or end. It also has the most, the international flights that are the easiest to book.
It was crazy when, I was a kid for my very first trip to New Zealand. And I remember when I turned on the faucet, and when you flush the toilet, instead of it going right, everything goes left.
It goes left.
I just said, what the heck is going on here, man? Like,
it's down under.
Yeah, no, but you look at it and you just like, right, either they put something in my kiwi fruit and I'm hallucinating, or I don't know what's going on over here. And like, you question your own sanity and in your own name, when you see that stuff. And realize you should have listened more in school,
So I did go to Wellington, by the way, too. So if people want to do an extra few days or a couple of days and go to Wellington, it's a very cool city. And that is where the Lord of the Rings effects are made. So maybe that's why you were thinking Lord of the Rings. They have a really cool studio there that you can go through and see all of the effects and everything. It's a great... and I did a food tour there, and the food's amazing. Of course, the food's amazing all over. But going back to Auckland.
Going back to Auckland. On the 8th day, you're provided with a day tour of Auckland. And you see the different sites. I want your opinion about it too. It's not like a convivial, friendly type of place. I wouldn't put extra time there. I still would recommend in Rotorua or Queenstown, or maybe you could add Wellington or Christchurch, one of those places. Yeah. But I think a day in Auckland is fine. It's a pleasant and clean city, just to kind of take a break after we beat the heck out of you with all these crazy activities. And it's where you're going to be flying out of anyways. So,
and there are things to do there. There's wineries. There are sites. It's just... most people actually go to Hobbiton from Auckland instead of doing it unless they're going to Rotorua. So, there are things to do.
So I got to tell you this one, not everybody's going to be able to understand their accent. That's for sure. And it's funny because my dad's got a little accent of his own. I mean, he's been in America for 45 years. If you met him, you'd think he's only been here for 45 minutes.
He's Greek, right?
Yeah, he's Greek.
Yeah.
So it was funny because, he was telling me, he's like, these people don't know how to speak English. And I said, Dad, well, you know, I mean, hearing that from you is insulting. You know what I mean? So,
That's funny.
yeah, and I think part of the thing with New Zealanders, the words, I mean, we obviously understand. It's they have a lot of slang, like a lot of expressions, and if you're not from there, it's very hard to understand a lot of their.
I mean, it's similar with Australia too. They have their own like verbiage for everything. And England is like that too.
Yeah. New Zealand, for whatever reason, was a little bit harder to understand some of the slangs that they got over there. But yeah, I mean, all three of them have it.
Yeah, and I was actually really surprised at the similarity between all of the South Pacific type natives. So, they have these really amazing tattoos that you would see if you saw, gosh, what's the name of the Disney movie with the little girl in the South Pacific? Ugh, now I can't think of her name. But those are New Zealand type tattoos. I can't think of what's the name of the tribe? They're the natives there.
The Maoris in New Zealand?
Maoris, yeah. Those tattoos are just so interesting and beautiful, and there is similar language in all the islands. So you were talking about how they're kind of difficult to understand. If you're from another South Pacific island, you would get it. You would understand it because it's all from this like original language.
Before it's spread out all throughout, yeah.
Do you go to that? There's a museum there, a cultural museum, or was that in Wellington? Maybe that was in Wellington that there was that amazing museum. Not in Auckland, sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah, you're referring to the Polynesian language and cultures. That's essentially what it's talking about.
Yeah.
To get around, basically, we will use private cars for the airport pickups and drop-offs. We've got the shuttles. When you're getting around, like, that day that you see those two sites, the Hobbiton set as opposed to the Lord of the Rings set, taken in these small vans and shuttles. And that's kind of the right way to do it. New Zealand is not a difficult country to get around in, but there's a lot of research into it to be able to do all this stuff, because I've talked about all these activities and it's all packed in 9 days. So it is difficult to kind of coordinate all that kind of stuff. So we make sure that you see it all and you don't miss anything important.
And that is something I love about Charlie and his tours. And this is why we work so well together, because he does these amazing tours where he packs as much value and activity as possible as people can stand in the tours to do all the highlights within the amount of days, and such a great value because you can leave any day you'd like. You don't have to go on a set day, and you may not be with the same people every day, but for the value, some of these shared tours, you will be with new people that are also on Charlie the Traveler tours on different days. So that's how you get better pricing and the most value.
Indeed. It's not a cheap country.
No.
Food's not cheap. Hotels are not cheap. And especially if you're going around Christmas time, the hotels really spike up in cost over there. So the sooner you plan that thing, the better.
And it's just such a fabulous country throughout. You can drive from place to place possible, but it's so much better to do it with someone like Charlie that can take you all over in a very coordinated way. So trying to do it on your own. I mean, I've had people get RVs and try to do RV tours throughout the country, and it's great. It's beautiful, but you don't get as much. You have a lot more stress when you are worried about your tires blowing. What could happen if you run out of gas?
Well, and then the other one. Remember, I had talked about that Mount Cook day trip, right? If you take the car, you're going to go more than 2 days to get that thing done. You
Wow.
know, you're not going to get to the next destination till the third day. When you're taking like that flight scene tour from Queenstown, you leave in the
Mm,
morning, you're back at the end of the day. So
mm,
renting a car, I mean, my father and I have done that, where we rent
mhm.
the car and note that they drive on the other side of the road
Oh,
over
yes.
there. I got to tell you a quick funny one. I'm sorry. We get serious with work. I need to break this for a second. So
That's fine.
my dad is Greek. My dad is Greek, and he loves his Greek music. And I was driving on the left side, and he had said to me, "Charlie, you don't know what you're doing. Let me drive." Because I was kind of grinding the side. Because the problem is the left lane is supposed to be the slow lane, and the right lane is the fast lane. You see, but my brain is still
Right.
okay. I was grinding the side there.
Ah.
You know, he said, "You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing." All right, Dad. So he takes over the car. He's doing the same thing that I'm doing. Okay. I thought I'm the problem. He says, "Well, you know," so he's playing his music, and there's some guy who's trying to pass. So my
Mm,
dad gets in the right lane, right?
okay.
That was the slow lane. That's the
No,
fast lane.
that's a fast lane.
Okay. He cut the guy off, right?
Ah, oh
Completely
no.
cut the guy. And then the guy's honking. And my dad's like, "What's this guy's problem, man? He can just pass. I don't care what he's doing." And the guy keeps honking the horn and this and that. And just like, he's like, "Oh, this stupid guy, man. I don't know what his problem is." So he just puts on his Greek music louder because he sings himself. He made the CDs himself. So anyway, I think my dad and I just got lost in the music, and we need gas. So we pulled off to the side, went to the gas station. All of a sudden, the guy appears out of nowhere.
Oh no.
Right? The guy appears out of nowhere. The guy comes out of his car. His hands are the size of bricks. Okay? His neck, like just his traps, were just like, man, like the guy could like crack chestnuts with his just flexing his traps.
Uh,
The dude was so big. And I said to my dad, I said, "Dad, he's going to kick our ass. We got no chance. We got no chance." He said, "I'm not scared of nobody. I'm not scared of nobody." Okay. I said, "Dad," I said, "Lower the music." The guy said, I'm not gonna do it. Don't tell me what to do. I'm not scared." So the guy comes over and the guy says, "You cut me off, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff." And my dad says, "Do you hear this music right here?" The guy says, "Yeah, I hear it." My dad says, "That's me singing." And he said, "That's pretty good, mate." That's what he says. "Yeah." He said, "I have CDs. Here's one for you. Give one to your mother." You know what I
ah,
mean? You can spread the word. I'm Greek. I'm from California. I love singing. You know what I mean? You got a beautiful cut. The guy forgot why he even got upset in the first place. You know,
that's
he's been
hilarious.
singing. He said, "I sing to, Charlie, this is my son over here. I sang to his mother, and I married her the day I met her. I
Aw.
told her this and that, and it all came from singing." But so the guy completely forgot that he wanted to kick her ass. Think about it. So,
So if
um,
you're a Greek singer, you can drive, no problem.
pretty much,
That is the
pretty,
lesson.
pretty much. So, yeah, and then it was absolutely crazy trip with him because later on we went to the airport and we had to get to the next flight, and he had too much stuff in his luggage. So they said,
Uh,
you have to take stuff out of your main luggage and put it into your handbag type of
mm.
thing. So he had to open up everything in front. So I said, "Oh God, Dad." So if you ever go to my Instagram, I have this in my highlight section for New Zealand
Oh,
of my dad and just the stuff that he was doing. And he couldn't understand what they were trying to talk to him in English, and
uh,
my dad was getting nervous, you know.
oh,
And my dad said, he said, "I don't understand what they're saying. How do you tell them bullshit in their language?" I said, "It's the same word. They understand it." So he's like, "They don't understand it." I said, "Yes, they do, Dad." Anyway, it was a good trip.
I had the same problem with my luggage. I don't know. Maybe there was like a small plane we had to take from north to south or something. I don't know why we would have had trouble, but I had to rearrange my luggage too. But that's usually you can just pay more if you're overweight. I like that.
You just pay a little bit more if
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm glad they did what they did to my dad. It made me feel better. So. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's good.
yeah, the sun had his fun that day. So
So, safety wise, I would say New Zealand is probably one of the most safe countries I've been in. Especially in Queenstown, you could walk all over that place. There was nobody that was questionable, or I never felt unsafe there.
yeah, we've really. I mean, during COVID, it was one of the safest countries for other reasons.
Right.
They kept most of it out,
And
and
there's Auckland too. Auckland is a very safe area.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely got New Zealand and Korea, Japan. They have to be three of the safest countries on earth.
Yeah. They're just lovely people too. Just sweet, lovely, helpful. Everyone is great. And the solo travelers, perfect place for you, especially on Charlie's tour where he does not charge a single supplement fee. So it's a great way to do it and to be with other people. Every shared tour, you don't have to be with the same people if maybe you didn't get along with somebody. You always have new people to meet.
Yep. I mean, you're with travelers pretty much every single day. It's just different individuals. So you always have tour guides. You're always um, with people and meeting new personalities and everything else. But you're not stuck with the same guy every single day.
So, and what is your cost for this tour?
Let's see here. Um,
So, by the way, when Charlie gives his costs, that includes what he would pay travel agents like me to help you. So, it's an advantage for you to book through a travel agent because we advocate for you and we take care of more things. If you want to do more pre and more post, you want to add a cruise, you want to do other things, that is what we're here for.
it's $47.96, and that includes all the hotels, the tour guides, all the entry fees, airport pickups and drop-offs, all the activities that I had mentioned. Those flight scene tours to Milford Sound, the flight scene tour to
And is
Mount.
that per person?
That one's per person. And now we have the option to do 6 payments
Yeah.
with 0 interest. So basically, rather than that be, what do we got here? 47.96 divided by 6. So that's like $800 a month with 0 interest instead of just making one big old payment.
And we do, I have a payment plan also where it's kind of like a credit card you're getting, but it's also got 0 interest possibilities sometimes. But it pays 100% of it, and then you just pay as you'd like, just like you would any credit along the time. So there's always payment options, no matter who you go to.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyway, we were a little concerned about next week because you were going to go to India, but that is not happening, right?
That one's not happening.
So are we set next week? Let's see. Next week is the 11th of February. Are you going to be around? I'm here.
Yeah, I should be here.
Okay.
Which country we want to do?
Did you want to stay in the South Pacific, or not South Pacific, the down under, and do Australia, or do you not do Australia?
Not Australia.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I wrote a travel guide on it, but the company itself doesn't operate.
And I do book Australia. So, and I've been all over the country. It's a fabulous country. So if you want Australia, just let me know. But we did Bali already.
We haven't done Thailand, I don't think.
Oh, you're right. We really need to do Thailand. But is that going to be okay for one show, or do we need to break it up?
We're gonna have to
So,
break it up.
yes. So which should we do first?
Do North and Central Thailand.
North and Central. Okay. Next week, North and Central Thailand. I love Thailand. It's one of my favorites. So follow us next week on the 11th. I believe I said yes. At our usual times on any of our streaming platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. And be sure to scan the QR code, enter to win our contest. And hey, I have a new website. I'm so excited. I mean, it's not totally finished with the design yet, so it's still a work in progress, but a lot of my new links link to my new website. So I'd love to hear what you think of it. I think it's pretty nice, but let me know what you think. And let us know if you want to book a trip with hashtag Travel Talk Tuesday in any of the comments. We'll give you a $50 gift certificate towards any Charlie the Traveler tour booked through my team at Laney Melnick and Associates Dream Vacations. I think that's it, right?
Jeez, I try to keep it short because when I just let my brain go freely, it just doesn't end. So I kind of wait for you to ask me stuff now because otherwise I don't stop with it. So
I know. I feel like I'm interrupting you a lot and trying to redirect. So it's good. Oh, good. Okay. Because I mean, we need to stay on task or we don't finish. But I think we did a good job today. We did a good job. It's 6:45. So thank you guys for watching as always, and tune in next week.
Thank you. I look forward.
Thanks, Charlie.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
Are we live or are we done?
We're still live. You can see the